Hey everybody, my name is Karima. I am powered by power, and we are living in a world today where it's hard to feel. It's hard to be black. It's hard to know exactly what to do or to affect change. Um, it's just hard. It's rough. It's uncertain. And even with all of that, it's important that we try to find as much peace within ourselves and as much light within ourselves to begin to be the change we want to see. It has to start with us, it has to start within us. And I've never really been a huge advocate or frontline protester or just out loud about my blackness. I knew that it's hard to not look at me and know that I'm black, so I just kind of stayed in that kind of realm and just knew like my blackness let my blackness speak for itself. And today I had a opportunity to join my colleagues and my students on a town hall meeting. And ever since, I'll say this Sunday, I've just feeling this pressing urge to just speak up more than what I have done in the past. I would say that I was an accomplice, so to speak, in the past, because whatever happened in my classroom happened in my classroom, and I did my best to make sure that students understood what I stood for and understood who they are as kings and queens. That was always a message that I reiterated in my classroom. And so they knew. But I didn't do much to speak out against the biases and the microaggressions to my colleagues. I just kind of let them happen. And in certain forums whether it be a DEI session or whatever the case may be, I would speak out sometimes, but I just always had the idea in my head that people are going to be who they are. It's deep-rooted stuff that makes them respond to the way they do, and it's really hard to affect change. However, with everything going on in the world right now, I truly believe that change has to come when we speak up, when we use our voice, when we are no longer silent, when we allow ourselves to be transparent and be vulnerable, to have difficult discussions with our white counterparts about what they can do and what they should do and how they can do it. And especially as educators, as many of you know, I teach math on a high school level. I teach geometry and I teach AP calculus. And I am the first black woman in my school to teach AP calculus. And that resonated with me on a different level going into my role as an AP Calc teacher. It was my first year doing it. It's what I went to school for. And I was met with such authentic young people who knew exactly how they felt by the systems in place at my job. And I don't think I necessarily silenced them. I don't think I did enough of a job to hear them out or to speak on their behalf as an adult, as a black adult, as an adult in the building, a teacher in the building. They understood that their voice was limited, and I didn't do enough to unleash that or take off that limit for their voices. And I watched one of my students lead this discussion today, and I couldn't help but be more proud, because I know that she is on her way to actually being the change that she wants to see and instilling in her peers and her her leaders what really needs to happen moving forward and how change can really happen moving forward. And it's not enough to just say or speak or use your voice or say I'm sorry, or it has to be an action. It has to be accompanied with action. And I know my thoughts may be all over the place right now, but it's hard for me to really figure out the right words to say in such a time like this, because lives have been lost. Like, we've been losing millions of lives to a virus, and now all of a sudden you are taking lives, like just straight knee on neck taking lives. Like, that's what the world has come to now. Like, you just straight rolling up in people's houses and shooting them when millions of people are already losing their lives. It's hard to really get the words to really describe how I feel or articulate where my mind goes when I think about those families, when I think about all of the different people in this world who have been affected by all of this, and all of the Black people who are fed up. And quite frankly, we have a right to be. We have a right to be fed up. And it's important that we just use our time and our platforms and our intellects and our voice to progress the movement in whatever way that looks like. And I know everybody has their own thoughts and own opinions about what really should be done, but at the end of the day, at the end of every single day, God is sovereign, and He knows the end and the beginning. He is the author and the finisher of our faith. And right now, that's what the world needs. We need faith. We need to be able to hope in something that we are uncertain about, something that we cannot see right this minute, but understand that God has the world in His hand, and continue to pray without ceasing. Continue to reach out to family. Continue to reach out to loved ones. Continue to talk about all of the things that need to continue to be talked about. Continue to say their names. Continue to use our power wisely and not do anything to bring forth negativity. We have to remain in a state of positivity. We have to remain in a state of just peace and assurance that everything is going to be okay. We may not feel that way right now. We may be angry right now. I was angry on Sunday. I think it was Sunday, Pentecost Sunday, that morning. I woke up and I was looking at all the videos on Sean King's post, and I could not withhold the tears. Like, just angry at what is being done to our people all over for simply standing up for what is right. A man died. A man was murdered by a police officer, and you want to brutalize me? Like, this police brutality is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And so it's important that we just own that feeling and begin to surround ourselves around people who can shed some light, and to begin to remove that anger and bring us into a safe space to release it and let that fuel our creativity, let that fuel our voice, let that fuel our platforms to begin to speak up, begin to say something, begin to just not stay silent. Our silence is a problem. And right now I'm supposed to be editing a birthday vlog right now, but that doesn't even feel right. It doesn't feel right to be trying to continue life as normal without addressing the state of this country. Like, it's crazy. I've talked to some of my students and a lot of my friends and my colleagues, and it's so much thoughts, it's so much feelings. And at the end of the day, it just comes down to the fact that God is in control, and we have to trust that. We have to trust that. This may seem crazy to say, if God is in control, why is this happening? But he only knows. He knows what's going on. He knows how this is going to turn out. And our job is to continuously pray and stay steadfast and unmovable in our faith. Continue to let those thoughts of peace and love continue to overwhelm us, and not the thoughts of hate. I can go on and on and on, but I just had to say something. I just had to be able to kind of get this out amongst everything else I'm feeling. Like, I have to be able to address those feelings too. I just had to speak out about the fact that we have to, one, trust God, and we also have to use our voice to begin to affect change and be the change that we want to see, and move past this and become stronger. Move through this and become stronger. Not brush it under the rug. We have to address it. We have to look at it in the face and hold up a mirror to our white counterparts and show them their ways. And I wish that I had the words. I wish that I knew exactly what to say. I wish that I can have this eloquent way of just putting it all out there. But this is definitely an ongoing conversation. It doesn't necessarily stop here. This is not the end all be all of my thoughts about everything going on, because this has to be a continued conversation. I just had to get this out because I want to begin to figure out how I actually feel and figure out what I can actually do and move forward with this. And so there's going to be a series of different thoughts that arise as they come, like the main thing is just maintaining positivity and maintaining our mental health in order to do the right thing, in order to move forward, in order to have change happen. And so I am powered by power. You are powered by power. Let's utilize our power for change in this world.